Happy belated birthday, Subaru Natsuki. And now we're going to talk about 2 episodes you're not even in. That's right, we had 3 consecutive episodes about Subaru. Or even Amelia. Yeah, our main character is absent. Now we do have to talk about one, I'll soon go over, one person's demise, while a couple other characters just simply saying, "Run away!" Let's go talk about it now. We're going to go now. I don't have to say this. The Astrea family's bonds is about as solid as China. Any gentle knock and the thing falls apart quickly. Yeah, sadly, in the first episode, we're talking about 14, Teresa von Astrea, because I think it's the name of the episode. And yeah, it's actually kind of heartbreaking watching her backstory. The fact that, she was just kind of take care of the garden, and then one day it just hits her. Oh, you're now the sword saint. Her uncle immediately pointing out, it's like, you're the sword saint, pick up the sword. And to me, I guess it really kind of shows like a status of kind of like her destiny, which is constantly watching things around her basically fall apart. And the only sense of stability she had in all her life was Wilhelm. Wilhelm's our true knight in shining armor, the sword demon. Before I actually get into the fight, the first time obviously fell apart. Her first knight, of course, was her older brother, who she loved dearly, and sadly died in the first battle that she was involved with. They really bring up this small conversation, how he basically brought her into him and saying, "I will protect you." I guess in a sense, he did actually live up to it. Unfortunately, he also died while doing it. Then, of course, her brothers died. Her uncle dies, the previous sword saint. And I guess she had a flashback when she was looking at her uncle's death to the time when she was looking at her brother's corpse. Then went back to the moment when she was actually fighting with the sword, and for her uncle saying in her ear, "He has plenty holes in his stance, doesn't he?" At this point, she kind of really realized that, yeah, she's an undefeated sword person now. But luckily, she found someone who could actually best her, a relative unknown named Wilhelm, who simply wanted to take the sword just so he could protect her. And now let's get to the heartbreaking moment. Yeah, let's face it. After Reinhardt's awakening, Teresa basically lost her ability really to pull out the main sword saint's sword. And for all intents and purposes, was wiped out by the whale as well as the witch, Pandora. Eventually just basically being a zombie. And yeah, this is something I think I talked about in the previous podcast. Yeah, there's a way for these zombies to actually regain consciousness and some semblance of what they once were. It's confirmed in this episode, by the way. When Reinhardt finally fights her and let's face it, he's one punch man, hits her, she immediately gets back to her senses. Granted, she's also withering away too upon being hit. And of course, was able to have a sensible goodbye. And just like that, the Astrea family, once again, instead of uniting, just falls right apart, away from each other. And of course, you have Wilhelm gathering up the dust that was once his wife, finally getting some bit of closure, telling her that he, in fact, always loved her. One of his few regrets. Then goes up to Reinhardt saying, do you have any regrets of what you did? And it's like, and of course, it's me like, no. What I did was right. corpses have no future. Granted, he is right, but I think there's obviously a better way to state this. And of course, his father, Hinkle, Heichel basically says, immediately eggs him on. It's like, you killed the Sword Saint just so you could claim it all for yourself. I love Reinhardt's reaction. Like, yeah, so? You knew right at the bat, look, I'm saying right at the bat, you're right. Of course, he throws a punch at him, and Reinhardt immediately just ducks right out of the way. Virtually no effort. Heichel, ironically, is probably involved in one of the most messed up moments when his zombified mother is holding a sword over him and is getting ready to basically finish him off. Which, yeah, I mean, if the Reinhardt didn't show up, she probably would have one last regret that she can never live down, taking the life of her own son. Of course, that episode ends now with Heichel really upset at pretty much the world. What else is new, right? He was upset the moment we met him at the world. Of course, he's upset now. Now we get to the other one. The Archbishops of Gluttony. Let me say this. After a while, though, the voices do get very, in the English version dub, the voices do get very jarring. Now, I think I should tell you, I do like the voice actors that they chose. They always do a great job. And you think, I just think the direction is a little off because, constantly repeating things, it just gets to the point of annoyance to the viewer. I don't blame them. It's got to be your direction or maybe just the way how it's written. Things get lost in translation. Good example. Our old friend Capella. I think this character was definitely written for Aoyuki because she's knocking it out of the park with this role. I am loving every moment of the Japanese version of this, just to listen to her. This is clearly one of her best magical girl performances. And it makes me wonder, how would Capella do against her best magical girl character? Tanya Derezhnikov. Yeah, Tanya's obviously her best magical girl. Although Tatsumaki from One Punch Man is up there as well. Because, I mean, yes, he really does pull off that, that teenager who thinks she knows everything type vibe. Now, of course, Al basically, I think when we first see her, Al basically once again slices her in half. She's a shapeshifter and relatively has absolutely no real solidified form. She doesn't really have any bones or anything. She's basically like the T-1000 from Terminator 2. And I'm wondering at what point will they just simply try throwing her into like molten steel or even worse, molten lava. Because I really want to know where this ends with her. And of course, it's obvious that the reason why they're fighting at the Foundation is that if Capella does a much larger form of herself, the whole thing will come crashing down on her. And of course, she can't help herself. Goes into a dragon form. I think I should tell you, I always love these goofy looks the dragon has. For some reason, this thing makes me laugh. And the entertainment value of Aoyuki doing the voice only makes it even better. I always please comment if I'm pronouncing this wrong. I know I am. Her name. Okay, she takes down the city hall. Of course, Al sneaks out while the structure is now basically collapsing. And because, let's face it, she doesn't have any bones or anything, just simply goes into liquid form and just regroups and becomes a bunch of bunch of mice. Would be kind of interesting if you a bowl of rice, right? I'm sure she can do it. And of course, the first person she comes across is Anastasia and eventually Felix. Apparently, they're doing pretty well. I don't know why they just hightail it out of there, because quite frankly, both of them are kind of useless against Capella. I'm also surprised knowing that Anastasia does have some bit of magic. Why was she taking out the minions? Really? Why wasn't she taking out the minions? She has the magical ability. I mean, I'll get to him in a moment. Our favorite merchant has these magic abilities, and even though he has absolutely no magic, he just knows things. He just knows ways how to acquire it. And of course, if they actually left him a couple more minutes more, I really wonder if Al would have actually scared Anastasia. In fact, when one of her mice points out, it's like, "Oh, am I interrupting something?" I'm like, "Yeah, if you had stayed a couple more minutes, your enemies would have slaughtered each other." Of course, once again, she can't help herself. And then finally, the funny part is, I'm pretty sure she could probably at least do some bit of damage to Anastasia. I'm surprised she doesn't try. Especially, after receiving a blast in the face. But then I guess, again, I don't think this character is as petty as they put her on to be. And of course, finally, her minions attack Al, Felix, and Anastasia as they start running. And our resident Saitama comes in and saves them. Just simply appearing, and they all die. I did kind of cringe when I saw Felix actually saying, like, make them all dead. I know Felix does have a streak where he can be psychotic, but that's the funny part about him. He's always been pretty much the right mind of all of them. Like, this is probably the most fragile and moral of any of the characters that we've seen so far. Anyway, let's get back to the other fights. Julius is fighting our first gluttony. And of course, apparently he is bringing up the fact that he has a brother that was sick and was constantly bringing up memories that's kind of really irritating him. Now, interesting enough, he also has an Amelia moment, the spring chicken. You have all these abilities, why aren't you good? Well, why aren't you evil either? Why are you, Julius, not evil? The same question. People have their own self-interest. Not everybody can be as moral as you, Julius. Granted, we love the fact you're this way. Never change. Ricardo, he gets beat up pretty easily. But I'm always wondering about these things because we're doing White Fox. You get hit. Oh boy, they do not run away from making sure there's blood animated all over you. And he gets stabbed 3 times in the abdomen and absolutely no blood. So I'm wondering, like, is this something to do with the power of gluttony? That he only makes you think he hit him? Or maybe he convinces you that you're not really bleeding? Good question to ask, right? Let's get to our other one, the one from season 2. By the way, there's 3 archbishops of gluttony. Almost makes you wonder, like, wait a minute, why is it only one of everybody except for gluttony? Gluttony, you don't want to share anything either. These people are all sharing the same powers. And let's see, we have Subaru's retainer here dealing with him. As I was talking about later, he could snap his fingers and he's a merchant. And what's this guy's name? I completely forgot. Jeez. He's almost like the guy on the ground. I never knew who he was. Of course, he figures out that the reason why they're able to fight, as Julius, by the way, also comes to realization, that the more the memories this guy absorbs, the more the abilities this guy has. That's the reason why he can basically move like Neo in the Matrix. And let's see. Oh, guess who comes out of nowhere? First time since episode 3 of the season. Beatrice. Welcome back. We haven't seen you forever. Comes to the aid of our poor merchant, whose name I forgot his name. Let's see here. His name is Aquarius, right? No? Oh, okay. Poor Otto. And now, of course, we can now come up. This is the penultimate episode of the season, which means the next episode will be it. I'm done with these reviews. I wish everybody a very happy day, a nice happy April. Hope your March was done pretty well. Your season is beginning. Most of the shows, they're now officially on the air. Oh, by the way, Rick and Morty comes back next month, around Memorial Day. So get ready. I know I'm going to have to be ready to do all those reviews. And until then, until next week, the final episode. I'll see you. Bye.